Your eyes do not deceive you. That is indeed a greenhouse in a house. We haven't gone mad. Well, maybe we have a little bit, me and Sarah, my girlfriend. So it's mid-March, which means it's time for, at the turn of spring, time for planting the new seeds. And here they are. So this is what we do every year. Only this year we've been given this greenhouse by Sarah's parents. And because it's been very, very windy recently outside, we thought let's just bring it in and give the seeds a good month of really warm conditions in the house, and it doesn't really take up too much space. So as you can see here, these are the propagator trays with rows of different seeds, some of which are just starting now to sprout. They're lettuce there, so they're ahead of the game. So they started sprouting after just a couple of days. And let's just talk you through what else we've got. Chili, peppers, some peas, and then up here on the top level, sunflower. And you can just see one there is just starting to grow. We've got leeks, spring onions, carrots, courgettes, tomatoes, I think more tomatoes, cucumbers, beetroots, and down on the bottom we have peas, peppers, chili and lettuce. And just quickly over here as well, this is a chili planter that's designed to stay indoors, so we just put this cling film over it again to create the conditions of a greenhouse. And you can see over this side, if I just point down there, this is a basil plant in the middle of it. You can see some of them are starting to sprout here as well. So what we'll do is we'll thin these out when the time comes, because obviously they need space to grow, and we'll give them to friends and family, because we've got quite a few chili seeds growing there. So we've got, I think we've got cayenne, habanero and naga, so they're all very hot chilies. And there's a couple of other plants there, a couple of basil plants. So the reason I'm doing this video is I do talk quite a bit on my channel about our connection as human beings to nature and to the outdoors, to the natural world, whether we have lost that connection over the last few years, and whether there may be an appetite among some people to re-establish that connection. And I really think there is, alongside an appetite to reconnect with our spiritual selves and each other as well, in forming communities. And all those concepts kind of like come together when it comes to gardening. Certainly they do for me. I talk about spirituality, and which is for me is peace, you know, reflection, nurture of ourselves, and obviously of these little plants here. And it's such a therapeutic and satisfying hobby, gardening, especially when you see the process right through from start to finish. So you see those little seedlings there. In a few months' time, there'll be whole heads of nice, fresh, crispy lettuce. You know, the tomato seeds that haven't even sprouted yet, they will grow to 4-foot high tomato plants that will produce an abundance of tomatoes. Tomato plants crop really heavily. And again, we've sowed lots and lots and lots of seeds here. Obviously, we don't have enough space for all of these plants to grow. Once they start getting a little bit bigger, we'll pop them into smaller plants. Again, we'll keep them in the greenhouse until late April, once the ground's warmed up and the last threat of frost is more or less gone, before transplanting them into the vegetable patch, which I'll show you in a minute. And the rest of the seeds we'll put into little pots and we'll give to friends and family. And we'll also leave some outside our house as well for local people just to collect, with a little label on what the plant actually is. And I think that's the great thing as well, is that you can, in doing gardening, you can help foster those positive communities centered around, like I say, nurture, growth. And I think the more people that grow their own produce, particularly at the moment, the better, really. Not only for to reconnect with nature, but also it tastes great. It's cheaper. I mean, it doesn't cost very much. Look how much compost is in these seed trays, hardly anything. And then if you have a little bit of space in your garden to dig out a veg patch, great. But if not, I mean, you may not have any outside space. You may just have a balcony, a windowsill, but you can still do something. You can still grow a chili plant, maybe. You could grow You know, you could grow anything really. You could grow some spring onions indoors. You can do a little bit, and I can guarantee the process, like I say, of planting the seeds, watering them, looking after them, and then taking them outside and looking after them, and then ultimately the harvest come, you know, anytime from July to October. It's so rewarding and satisfying. So I just want to do this, I wanted to do this video really just to maybe encourage any of you who were thinking along these lines, just to, you know, just to stress how easy it is really. I mean, it's something that comes natural. I think anything that involves nurture is something that comes natural to us. It's almost in our DNA. It's part of who we are. You know, the connection to nature, it's part of who we are. It's just purely instinctual, all this, instinctive. And, you know, it's just a case really of plant the seeds, water them and look after them, show them a bit of respect and love, and they will reward you. So if you have any space at all to do some gardening, to get planting, now is the time. I'm going to take you outside just so you can see what else we've got in our garden, which is, it's a little bit of a mess at the moment, but if I can just open the door. There we go. That's a lavender plant there with some strawberries growing in it. We have this water butt that's been installed. Obviously any rain that falls, that'll just come down the downspout through that pipe and into the water butt there with the tap on the bottom so that we can fill the watering can up. Now we have got a lot of dry weather expected over the next couple of weeks, which certainly isn't unusual for this time of the year in the UK. If you do get long dry spells, are most common in late winter and spring. So there's the rest of the garden. Like I say, it's looking a bit messy at the moment. We're going to paint that bench and that shed as well in blue and white stripes, so that should be nice. Nice birch tree over there. Some raspberry bushes that have cut back will regenerate and will grow in the, pretty soon. That'll start. And here's our vegetable patch. Dave and Sarah's vegetable patch. Just straighten that sign up a little bit. So, like I say, come the end of April, start of May, once the seedlings that are currently in the propagator trays in the greenhouse, once they become a little bit more sturdy, a little bit more resilient, and once the last of the cold weather subsides, because I'm sure we will get a last attack of winter at some point in March or April. So once that happens and the ground's warmed up, then we'll get the crops into the ground there. Along here we'll grow some, that's where we'll plant our sunflowers, along with some sweet peas interspersed there. And we've got all the pots here from last year. They're going to be bedding out plants that go into the pots. We'll just buy them from the local garden centre. We're very lucky where we live. There are a number of garden centres actually where we live, which is great. And again, we've got some perennial plants here that are just starting to rebud. That's a chive plant there. The old faithful chive plant, which has been going for at least 15 years. Some thyme, a little bit of rosemary and a little bit of mint in there as well. So I'm going to do a video showing you the progress of the garden and just talk you through some of the processes and some of the tasks that are involved in the garden, and hopefully you'll be able to see the transformation as the weeks and the months go by. I remember last summer it was absolutely lovely out here. We really did. We did a good job on it, me and Sarah, and until late July when I injured myself and I had to get an operation. So it went to it was still nice, but I couldn't do anything after late July last year. But certainly this year I'm really looking forward to getting this tip top, and like I say, lots of colour, lots of nice fresh produce from the vegetable patch. We'll have some grow bags along the walls there as well, and we're thinking of putting a compost heap just here. Again, to just contribute to that kind of like sustainable way of living, which we're trying to do with growing our own stuff and with the collection of the rainwater in the water butt there. So yeah, again, I just want to encourage anybody to, certainly anyone who's lucky enough to have a garden, you know, or any outside space at all. It's a great use of your time. I think if you've got kids as well, they love getting involved. You know, my two little nephews, they're only 2.5, and they absolutely love the pair of them watering the plants. Or sometimes they just water the soil because there's not much to water at the moment. So that's what they've been doing, and they love that. We did some seed planting with them the other day, and they took their own seed boxes home with them. So it's great if you've got kids. Obviously, it's great to spend time outdoors. You can grow enough and give them away to your local community, to local family and friends. It's a great way to, like I say, to connect with nature. So yeah, I just wanted to do this little video, and I'll try and do a few more as the months progress, and you'll see the changing fortunes of the garden. So there we go. Let me know what you think. If you want any other tips, not that I'm an expert or anything, just let me know in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.